Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Kerrie Jordan. Welcome to our 50th episode of Manufacturing the Future. What a milestone. We are going strong, and I'm joined by a special guest for this show. But first, I'm recording this to take a few moments to reflect on the 2.5 years of speaking with manufacturing and supply chain leaders who are driving the future of these industries. I also want to acknowledge that during those 2.5 years, I've had the opportunity to converse with many of you, our listeners, either online, over email, or meeting at industry conferences. And there's been so much knowledge exchanged. And for that, I'm very grateful. This continues to be a really interesting endeavor for me hosting this podcast. In addition to hosting it, I lead teams of product experts, engineers, and designers and marketers at Epicor, which is a $1 billion industry software company serving mainly manufacturers, distributors, retailers, building supply companies, and the automotive aftermarket. And at Epicor, we are on a mission to power the growth of transformative business. And I love hosting this podcast because the companies and the thought leaders that you hear on this show that I get to speak to literally every episode represent the very definition of transformative business. They are truly driving change. And that's in their everyday delivery of products and services to their customers or by sharing their expertise that introduces new processes, inspires new ideas, transforms the future of manufacturing operations and production, and influences global supply chains. I'm so proud to be able to help tell their stories. And, this is more than my career. I mean, personally, I'm a mom of three kids. They are ages 17, 10, and 5. And, I wonder every day what the world will be like for them as they get older. So many of my guests talk about needing to change the narrative on a career in manufacturing or distribution, that it's no longer a dirty and dangerous job, but rather it's technologically advanced, it's sustainable, and it's deeply rewarding. I'm eager to get the word out. I mean, not just for us already in the industry, but for my children and for students everywhere. And for those who are new in their career, or maybe those who have been in a career for a long time, but maybe they're finding it stagnant and they need inspiration, or maybe they're really running hard and need, that additional boost to keep going. So every episode towards the end, I ask my guest for advice. If you were to speak to someone new in this field or looking to advance, what would you tell them? And I want to share some guidance that has stood out to me over the years. Um, the first one is act. Don't stand still and do nothing because the industry, technology will leave you behind. Even if you start small, start somewhere. You may need to look for inspiration outside of your everyday. So get experience beyond what you're doing. Maybe it could be an activity that doesn't seem directly related, like volunteering for a nonprofit. I've actually spoken to a few musicians. Sometimes it can help you visualize different solutions to a problem that you need to solve. You've been thinking about it for a long time and you need different perspective. And, looking outside your everyday can really help. The next bit of inspiration is as a leader, when you're working with others, create a space where it's okay for members to throw any idea out there. You don't know where the next great idea is going to come from, even if it's not that exact idea that you choose to go with. It might lead you down a path to something great. The next one is if you're really passionate about what you're doing, stick to it. Keep moving forward. Opportunities will come. Don't give up. Remember, humility is one of the most important things because you will always have to stand on someone else's shoulders. Everyone needs support, and it's okay to ask for help. The last one I'll share with you is lean on data to guide or inform a decision. And that data can come from anywhere. Some business leaders or experts have found really creative ways to capture new data within their own company. Others have found ways to collect it from outside their company, like government or industry associations, or working with customers, partners, and suppliers. And then you can use that data to your advantage to help you make decisions, especially if you apply AI. And speaking of AI, that brings me to this 50th episode. Like so many in manufacturing and supply chains, it features a business leader of an organization that is steeped in history and craftsmanship. And this episode happens to be about woodworking. And that's, something that's been on my mind quite a bit lately. Throughout this podcast series, we seem to always uncover this fascinating dichotomy between traditional crafts, like manufacturing, and modern technologies, like AI or automation. It's really interesting how these age old practices like woodworking, metal fabrication, food preparation, other forms of manufacturing, continue to thrive in this era by embracing cutting edge advancements like artificial intelligence. And, the advent of AI and modern technology has introduced so many new possibilities, even into the most traditional fields. Imagine the most tedious parts of your day, right? Those administrative tasks that we always have to deal with, like recording time, going through emails, managing the budget, planning and scheduling, processing orders, managing logistics. These kinds of activities can seem grueling, but they are essential components of running a successful business. And this is where AI can help. This is where I'm, really excited about it. It can help our teams automate some tasks so that we can focus on the crafts that we love, whether that's, woodworking, manufacturing, right? It could be, overall delivering faster while maintaining quality of your product so you can get ahead in the industry. Maybe, those really quality or meaningful activities to you are having a conversation with your customers or with your business partners. Maybe it's coming up with the next great idea that continues to keep your business thriving and really to keep your people and your teams and those that we care about happy and successful. So, as we celebrate this milestone, the 50th episode, let's embrace the blend of tradition and innovation. Let's honor the past while looking forward to the future. We can uphold the meticulous artistry of manufacturing, like woodworking, distributing high quality goods around the world, and thinking about how it's enriched by efficiency and precision of modern technology and global supply chains it can offer. So, thank you for being with us, and let's get to this episode. Today, I'm speaking with Tyler Madsen, the director of Madsen's Millwork and Custom Cabinets, which is a premium architectural and residential millwork firm based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Madsen's was founded in 1962 and specializes in high-end custom woodworking for educational, residential, commercial, and many more types of spaces. Now, normally I would wait until the end of the show to tell everyone where to find information, but their work is just so beautiful and it's so intricately designed that I encourage you to take a look at their images of projects online at madsensmillwork.com. That's MADSENS millwork.com. It's important to the show, so I encourage you to take a look. Now, my guest, Tyler Madsen, represents the third generation of his family's woodworking legacy. He and his brother Josh took over the company leadership in 2020 after the passing of their father, Kent Madsen. Under Tyler's guidance, the business continues its tradition of excellence, employing around 75 skilled craftsmen and producing up to 30% of the region's high end architectural woodwork, including installations in iconic venues like the Jubilee Auditorium and the Art Gallery of Alberta. Tyler remains committed to his father's values, supporting apprenticeships, nurturing talent, and upholding the highest craftsman standards in Canada's millwork industry. Now, I'm very much looking forward to this conversation. Tyler has been instrumental in modernizing operations through the adoption of cloud based ERP, enterprise resource planning, and advanced AI tools. Madsen's is, in fact, an Epicor customer with solutions such as Epicor Kinetic and Prism agentic AI. So let's learn more about all of this. Tyler, welcome and thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so you have taken on a really important role in an important organization to your employees, to your customers, but also to your community. What does it feel like to carry on this legacy while transforming how the business operates?
Honestly, I feel very excited and like it's a definitely a heavy burden to hold. I was pretty young at the time. I was 27 when I took it over, and I've been running it for about 5 years now with my brother. And I do feel a certain responsibility for everyone in the organization. There's people that have been here 40, 50 years. There's people that like really depend on this place for their whole families depend on it. We have about 75 employees, and it's just really important that they know that they're taken care of at the end of the day. And that's kind of where I find the most value in this company and where I feel it best is being able to take care of all the people that have been here from the start. We have such a great team here, and I just feel so honored that I get to be part of this organization.
So when you started, when you took it over, what was the biggest challenge that you faced?
When we took it over, it was such a big burden at the time. I remember I was so young and I was so brokenhearted by the sudden passing of my father. And he was such a instrumental character in this company. He'd been running it so well for so long. And I was traveling and I had to come back and over the time period of a week because it was during COVID as well. I came back, I had to quarantine, I had to deal with the burden of losing my dad, but also trying to deal with the responsibility of keeping this organization alive. It was really difficult. It was really difficult learning the ins and outs of stuff. Like I'd always worked here. My whole life I'd worked here since I was 14. This is my first job. And I've worked almost every department about it, but there's so many things that I didn't understand about it, like the financial side of it. I was never really introduced to that. The lending, the dealing with the banks, dealing with the general contractors. We had so many things that happened that we just couldn't foresee, and keeping that alive while staying busy while the COVID pandemic was happening, when people were going to remote work and no one was building anything. The economy shut down. And it was the first week that lockdowns were happening too. And all the general contractors were shutting their doors and our revenue just was going down at the time and trying to figure out like things to keep. We had to deal with the subsidies program. These are just things like once in a generation thing that you could never be prepared for. And we also didn't want to lay everyone off and tell them to go home. And it was quite a burden to take on at the time, and at the time as well, with the passing of my father, a lot of the general contractors were really worried to work with us because they said, "Are these kids, like, we were young, are these kids gonna be able to handle it?" We're still doing projects upwards of $1 million and, $600,000 projects, and they can't let their clients down, and we can't let them down. So it was a difficult time, but we managed to go through it. A lot of things also is just having the team confident in our leadership because we didn't know what we were doing. We pretended like we knew what we were doing, but we didn't. We didn't. So we had a huge learning curve to get over that. It was looking back on it, it was scary. It was really scary, but at the end of the day, we gone through every single thing. We pumped through it. I think the number one thing was just showing up every day, being here every day, making sure that everyone knew that this company was just as strong, if not stronger. So
That's incredible. That's incredible. What an enormous responsibility that you took on at that time, in addition to all of those other things that were going on. I mean, any one of them in particular would be overwhelming, let alone all of them all together. I love that you said it was like about, being there for the team and showing up every day. That's
yeah,
pretty incredible.
that pandemic was crazy. It was really crazy having to wear masks and quarantine and do the social
Yes.
distancing. We had to put plexiglass up between our engineering department. If someone got COVID, they had to be off for weeks, and it was navigating that alone was a challenge. Not to mention navigating trying to take over a company. So it was something else. I'm glad we got through it. It was, and I didn't like it.
And now in addition to all of those challenges, I can imagine that it was difficult when it comes to upholding the standards of one of the most revered art forms, woodworking. So you've
Yeah.
had to deal with, all of these challenges and like running the business in addition to personal challenges, but then of course there's holding up these standards and delivering to what is expected when it comes to woodworking. How do you balance preserving this sort of iconic traditional craftsmanship with implementing cutting edge technology that's needed, for the post pandemic world for the future, going forward?
Like, I feel like quality and technology go hand in hand. If you can't really maintain your quality unless you're keeping up with the most modern day technology, if you're not updating your technology, updating your equipment, updating your processes, you're going to be left behind. The most important thing here is for us, it's speed. It's not just quality, it's how rapidly we can pump out quality. So if you're not getting up to date with your processes and doing your workflows and ensuring that those things are met, your quality can be amazing. But if you don't have the time frame to pump things out in a timely manner for your clients, your quality is your quality is also in the rapidity that you can turn around projects. So I think it goes hand in hand. If you're not implementing the latest technology, you're not going to be able to have that consistent quality on the level that we keep it at.
Great point, because it's not just about the quality and upholding those standards, it's like delivering it on time. So that's critical. So when you chose to move your business to the cloud, could you walk me through that decision process? And how did you get to that decision?
Well, when we took it over, we were stuck on Epicor 905, which at the time Connecticut just came out and we were about 4 or 5 versions behind. And I was looking at it and it was just an old system. My dad had the right idea that we implemented that in 2014. And my dad was always ahead of the curve when it came to technology in the industry. But I think where they went wrong is at the time they had 905 out and 10 had just been released, but they had the mind frame of, okay, let's go with 905 because 10 might have a bunch of bugs and they haven't worked it out yet. And I was sitting there and I thought, why would they go with an older version? Obviously 10 is a better version. It's a newer version and you're not going to get left in the dust. So we were looking at it one day and I said, if we don't upgrade this now, we're going to be stuck on this system and we are going to have no implementation of the newest technologies. And that's kind of not in line with our business strategy or how my father would have ran this company. And then another day, me and my IT guy, Jason, is at the end of the day, and the power to our servers went out, and we had lost. No one could clock out. No one can do anything. We lost pretty much all the data for the day. And I said, we can't keep running like this. Like if that happens again, like all the information for a whole day's work of 75 people are out. So it was at that point in time that we decided we have to upgrade. And when we went from 905 straight to Kinetic, I remember I went to Insights and the people were like, "You're going from 905 to Kinetic? Like, are you crazy?" And I was
Big jump.
like, why wouldn't we? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't we go to Kinetic? Like,
Love it.
then why would I want to upgrade to something that I just have to upgrade to later? I'd rather get the newest, the best, all the updates, all the upgrades that we can get. And kind of with that thought process in mind, we said, let's just do it. Let's do it. We're going to work this all through. Every single thing that we have now, we can update it and just work through every single issue as they come. A lot of times when we're on 905 as well, we didn't have everything in line the way that it should. And we had backup Excel sheets. And the second you get a backup Excel sheet to something, your system isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Having another set of data to back up your current data results in having two conflicting data sets. And if one gets updated, the other one doesn't get updated. You have two versions of what's true. So having that thought process in mind, whilst we were going through the upgrade into Kinetic, we are going through every single thing that had a backup Excel sheet and eliminating it and making sure that we have one live data set that every single person in the company is now using.
That's interesting. Okay, I like that process. Okay, so now for people who maybe aren't familiar with Kinetic, would you share a bit about how your company uses it? Like, what are some of the processes that it helps Madson's with?
It pretty much runs from quote to cash, right? So you quote out a job, you have your projects, you get the project, you turn it into the jobs that you're going to have to run through. From there on, it goes down to the shop floor. Everyone has to clock into their jobs. From then on, it gets shipped out, which then creates our invoicing for the month. And then when it goes to site, you have all the installers now have their tablets that they can go in and also clock in and work off the same database. So when we were on prem, we didn't have any visibility for the people on site because we also have about 20 installers that are on job sites every day. And those guys also kind of, I feel like they have a disconnect from the shop, whereas the people on the shop were always working within the system itself. The people that were on site were still doing out of shop timesheets. The people who were needing to have, phone calls back and forth to the people on the shop when they have questions. Having that one system on a cloud, which makes it so every person that has access to a URL now has access to the same database. It gets everyone in line and it gets everyone on the same page. And it kind of eliminates a lot of that back and forth conversations that wasted a lot of time because let's say I have my project manager is now in sight and he has to go find the information for the people that now can just go on their tablets and pull it up themselves.
Interesting. That's great. Okay. So do you have it connected? Just curious. Do you have it connected to any of the machines on your shop floor or like monitoring any of them?
We don't have them connected to our machines, but we have tablets at every area that
Oh,
people, yeah. So when you're on your actual reference point, so we've kind of broken down the shop into 12 different areas, and every person then clocks into their particular area, and then through the job, the MES, they can go in and take the data that they need for their particular job. So it's not physically connected into the machine, but the people that are running in those departments all have access to the necessary documents that they need to complete their job.
got it. Okay, so speaking of people and
Yeah.
empowering them with technology,
Mm.
AdSense is one of the organizations that is using Epicor's Prism agentic AI, and I
Yeah.
would love to hear about your experience because you've been so active in co-innovation with Epicor. It's
Yeah.
been really exciting to work with you and your organization. How are you leveraging Prism, and what has that done for the business?
So for Prism, it's kind of like right now for it's still in its early adopters phase, and we have the people using it and buying into it. So it's mainly used for the people that are on the upper engineering side and the project management side. Having them be able to find the information they need readily available, it saves them so much time on the back end of stuff. Because before, whenever you get a phone call, hey, what are you guys talking about on this job? What are you talking about on that job? You can just go in and type into your AI, pull up the information for that. And it's just getting that information at your fingertips in such a rapidly searchable way really empowers the people to stop spending wasteless hours. And it kind of helps them focus on the time that is productive to manufacturing the product itself. So AI is definitely, it still is young, but as we implement it more and you get it into more areas of things, it really is going to be critical to our operation in the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see the way that you're using it. And it's fascinating because I mean, woodworking is such a like an ancient art, and it can be so modern. And especially as I encouraged everyone to check out the website, there are so many beautiful, modern installations, and there's so. But it's interesting this juxtaposition of
Mhm.
this modern technology. Would you talk a little bit more about how some of the folks specifically within Madsen's are using it? I understand you have some of your estimators working to incorporate AI to help you review different spec sheets and how that's helping to save time. Because you said speed of delivery is just as important as
Yeah.
quality. So how are some of the ways in which they're using it in their day to day?
So, for example, here for our estimating side of things, right now we get jobs, and those jobs, we are just a small piece of a giant project. So, we are just about like in respects for the construction industry, we get a spec book that might be 900 pages long, but the only thing that we really need are three sections out of there, which is our millwork and carpentry, our doors, and our frames. And that little section is just like, you know, 30, 40 pages out of those specs. But we have to go through those specs, find that information, and just go through it and pull out the information that we need for that. So, like, that's going to be your hardware information, your core information, what's your finishes, all that stuff. So, we can actually upload that into your AI, and then that can just filter out all the excess noise that you need and just filter it into the data that you need to make your decisions. Because we have to be quoting out a ton of numbers a year. Let's say we're doing, $12 million a year. We're going to be quoting out about 40 million. at a 30% success rate. So we have to be constantly pumping out those numbers, and we have to make sure that we can do that in a timely and rapidly and in a timely manner. Now, on when you get into your architectural drawing side of things, what I'm looking for is when AI is going to be able to, start highlighting out where the millwork is. Because a lot of times, you're looking at your drawings, you print them off, you have to stare at them. Well, where's the cabinets? Where's this? Where's that? Where's that? Then you go and you have to do your reference for your architectural drawings, which has your elevations on it. So now you're going to be able to upload that into your AI, and that's going to be able to highlight that and then point it out to where it is, so you can just rapidly go, okay, there it is, doo, 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 and then just bang that out into your quote.
Awesome. I mean, I feel like there's so much that's gone on, but you made it sound so simple.
Yeah.
So, well, that's like such a perfect use of AI to help
Yeah.
somebody actually go through like a fairly complex, long document that would otherwise take a very long time to do it, and then just have it highlight what it needs to find it as fast as
Exactly.
possible.
Yeah, and then so another thing that we do man doors as well, and we have jobs of upwards of 300 doors, and you get these door schedules, and they're a graphical schedule that has every type of door and what it is mixed with your aluminum doors, your other doors, and you have to go through it and make sure you go one by one by one by one by one. Your sizes are in there, your finishes are in your hardware group is in there. You can then get that to upload that and then highlight all the ones that are relative to you, sum it up for you, and then, okay, here's my doors. Just that alone. We'd have our lead estimator coming in here, and he would be filtering through that, highlight, tick, 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 you got 16 type A's, 12 type B's, 14 type C's, sizes, cutouts, all the information out of that. So having that be able to just give you that information and then being able to pump that into the system is going to be amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
and
Because
I see in the future, we'll be able to take that information and have that information actually pump it out through into the quote itself.
yes.
So then, okay, now and then you don't have that human error aspect of things where you could miss one door. A door is $1,800 at the end of the day, a veneer door. If
Mhm.
you miss a couple of those, that's a big chunk of change that you have to fork out. And at the end of the day, if we submit our quote, it's a lump sum quote. If I miss a door on there, I'm eating that cost.
There's real impact.
Yeah.
Got it. And I imagine that kind of work is a little different from being able to actually work and create these beautiful architectural millwork and
Of course.
projects. So, and you much
Sure.
rather spend time, I'm guessing, doing that craftsmanship versus
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, you need to have the people at the estimating stage. You
for
need to have
sure.
people in the engineering stage. You need to have your machine operators. You need to have your journeyman cabinet makers that are going to put everything together. And you need the people that are going to install the work and make sure that it looks the way it's supposed to. And all those people have different sets of skills. So you
Mhm.
need to make sure that you utilize all those skills at the end of the day and put people in their places, in their correct places that are going to be beneficial to the end goal.
Yes, yes. So when it comes to adoption of AI, what was it like when your team started to take a look at it, review it, and then it sounds like you're early in the journey. So I imagine some folks are just kind of getting started with it. But how has that been? Do you have any advice for others who might be thinking about starting with AI and how you can involve the team as part of that decision process?
Obviously, people, I think, off the start are skeptical. They think that their jobs are going to be replaced by AI, and I don't think that that's the way you should look at it. I think once people start seeing the value that it adds to your job, to make your job easier, to make your job more streamlined, it's once you like realize that this is going to save me time to do the stuff that I don't like to do. I don't like to do the data entry. I don't like looking at stuff for so long and trying to pick up the information. I like doing the selling stuff. I like having the information. I like being able to provide real-time knowledge to my clientele. So once people see the benefit of it, I think that there is a lot more last lack of reluctancy and seeing the actual benefit to your day-to-day operations. So I think what you really have to show people that you're not being replaced by AI. You're you're being your AI is your assistant to help you streamline your own job. And it always goes back to the people, the comment that they made at Insights. It is, AI will not replace people. People who use AI will replace people that don't.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like you have to understand, like, it is happening, and it's not something to be so scared of. It's something that can be embraced to help your day-to-day operations.
Yes, well said. Can I ask you, how do people get involved in woodworking? Like, are you finding people are going to school for it, vocational training? Is it like a personal hobby that they've gotten? And is it growing? It's an interesting industry. And I'm curious to get your take.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I know we get a lot of people that are in high school and they do woodshop class, and they really like
Nice.
woodshop class. And from then on, it's like, okay, well, guys, if you actually enjoy woodshop, like we'll take you on for the summer and you can see what it's like working in an actual shop and working in an industry of this. And then
Yeah.
from there on, you can kind of go into the millwork and carpentry program at Nate. And then it kind of snowballs into it because a lot of people want to make a living in woodwork, but they can't. It's a
Yeah.
really difficult trade to be in. It requires a lot of overhead. There's a lot of tools involved. It doesn't pay the greatest, but a lot of people, it's their passion. They love it. They love the process of it. They enjoy it. So I find like for the younger generation want to get into it, give it a go, play around with it, enjoy it. Playing with tools is fun. We're young people. It's fun to
Yes.
get, get covered in dust and cut things and do all this fun stuff that actually comes with it, but it is really difficult to do it for a living, like your
Mhm.
is so expensive. The shop, there's so many things that can go wrong with it, and as a job too, it's not like another trade where it's like, it's electrical wire. You just take the wire and you go to site with the wire and you pull the wire and you plug it all together. You have to wait till the drywall's up. You're the last guy in there. The project's running out of money. You have to make sure that you measure it to the hole. And then you have to engineer it. From engineering, you have to also order your material. From ordering your material, you have to get it in, and then you have to go manufacture the whole product, and then you have to ship it to site. And the people are already behind schedule typically on a construction site. I don't know if you've ever been on a construction site, but they're usually behind schedule. You're the last guy in there, so you're always pressed for time. So it's a difficult industry to be in, but it's so rewarding. When you see the end goal of it, when you see it all come together, you're really what makes the project feel and be what it is.
Yes. And I can't imagine like a better use case for using AI to help accelerate all of those things that are manual, that do take a lot of time, that kind of hold you back from being able to exercise this craft. So that's really interesting. Can I ask you about sustainability? Because
Yeah.
I understand that Madsen's has a focus on sustainability. What does that mean to you and to your community? And how do you practice sustainability within your business?
So a couple of things that we do, for example, like Madsen's has always been a bit ahead in regards for technology and sustainability. One thing that we implemented back in 2001 is a biomass heating system, for example. So we actually take all our cutoffs that would otherwise, be thrown away, get cut into the dust, and then thrown into a bin and be wasted away and thrown away. So we actually take all our cutoffs and we put it in a chipper, and that goes and gets packed into biomass pellets that we save up for the whole summer. And then during the winter, we heat the building with our offcuts. So little things like that can really and that saves us getting our trash taken away. And it also saves us on gas. And we heat the building with our cutoffs. And every single machine that creates any dust is connected to that system that can take all the residue that would other be paid to truck away, and we burn it and heat the building with it. So
So smart. Yes.
yeah, things like that, and that saves us a ton of money. It saves us a ton on heating, and it deals with our waste.
Yeah.
So, those little things because you have a lot of cutoffs. Like there's a lot of waste factor in woodwork.
Mhm.
So it's really important that you utilize those pieces.
Interesting. I think that's so resourceful.
Yeah.
So okay, I want to ask you about advice. So
Mhm,
and I want to get your advice in a couple different areas,
mhm.
and it'd be great to just take it where you want it. But I think there are a couple things that listeners could certainly learn, and that is how to get involved in woodworking if they're interested, what it's like to lead a family business. Maybe there's somebody who is thinking about taking over in the next few years, and if there's anything that they could do to like better prepare themselves, and then advice about modernizing a business, uptaking AI. I think there's a lot that we could cover here, but
Yeah.
what advice would you give?
Getting into woodworking, I would say try it out. Explore your hobbies. If you find it interesting, go get some tools and do a project. Build something. There's no better feeling than when you take an idea, you put it into something that's real, and then you see it, you look at the end product and you go, "Wow, I just built that with my own hands." Working with your hands is such a blessing.
I love it.
Being able to just do something that you've thought up in your head and be creative and approach it with, you know, the understanding of a child. Like, be curious about it. Feel whatever you want, and if that's what you want to build, do it. Don't listen to what other people want to say. Just listen to what you want to do, and just follow it. Don't chase some big dollars at the end of the day. Follow what you're passionate about. I know that people say that all the time, but you really have to follow what you're passionate about. If you're stuck doing something that you don't like at the end of the day for the rest of your life, you're going to be miserable. So if this is something that you want to get into, go try it out. Go to take woodshop class at a young age. I think every person should take industrial arts in school, because that is also like a nice way to get into the idea that woodworking is something that I can do, and just keep doing it. Just keep getting better, refining your skills. There's so many things that you can learn in woodworking. You never stop learning at the end of the day, whether it be routers, drills, different processes, different wood species, finishing. There's so many things that can really just pique your curiosity, chase it, try it out, do it. That's kind of what I would say.
I love it. Are you personally a woodworker? It
No,
sounds like okay.
I
It's like
I'm not formally trained. I didn't go to school for woodworking, but I worked at this shop my whole life. So I
yeah,
actually went to business school, whereas my brother was trained in cabinet making.
I see.
I've been working here since I was, 13 years old. I got suspended from school and I got brought in here and I worked here every summer. When I was in university, I was working here full time and taking my classes at university. I see it. I love doing it. So I'm not formally trained. I'm not ticketed because I didn't go to school for it, but I definitely know a little bit about how to do it. I'm not a professional by any means. My brother is a professional, but I definitely know how to do, the little pieces.
I feel like every woodworker, whether professional or just passionate, disciplined, hobbyist, has a favorite tool. What's your
Yeah.
favorite?
My favorite tool is a router
Of course. I thought it was gonna be because you mentioned the router. Okay, got it.
and then
Mhm.
a drill. You need a drill.
Yes.
If you want to start getting into woodworking, get a set of drills and get a skill saw.
I love it. A
Yeah.
skill saw seems like a little advanced, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. The reason why it's called a skill saw is because it doesn't take any skill.
I love it. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the
Get a
one.
skill saw, get a square, get a set of drills, and you can pretty much run with that.
Nice. Okay, so then for somebody who's gonna be taking over a family business, what advice do you have
Yeah.
for them?
Definitely, if you're new to taking over the family business, definitely get to know everyone that's there, understand the team, talk to everyone, ensure that everyone feels welcome. Obviously, you're gonna be the leader of that organization. So I think it's really important that you get the respect and understanding of everyone's needs, what they see, what they want to do. And when you get in there, don't try to change everything. Don't go in and just think that you have the answers to everything. Don't promise people things that you can't deliver on. Understand where you're coming from and then have a vision for where you're going. And make sure that you want to do this. It's really important that you're passionate about what you want to do and just to follow those ambitions and make sure that every single person understands that this is what you want to do. You have to have the respect of everyone that's around you, and you have to give respect to everyone that's around you and that has put into work to building up the company to what it is today.
So advice for people who are going to be investing in advanced technology, maybe to take their business to the next level, maybe an ERP or AI, what would you suggest to them?
Be curious. Be curious. If you have an idea, run with it. Find people that have done it, listen to them, talk to them,
Yeah.
and just if you have an end goal in mind, just do it. Don't worry about screwing up. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes on the way. Adopt it, learn from it, figure it out, and there's steps to it. Understand that you have to do step 1, you have to do step 2, you have to do step 3, and in that process of everything, be curious about what you're looking into. Be understanding that there's going to be a lot of hiccups. There's going to be a lot of things that you think might work, that are completely wrong, and but that's a learning opportunity in itself. So just make sure that you know that you're gonna screw up and it might not be better and your ideas might be wrong, but don't dwell on that. Just keep pushing forward with what you think is right and what you know at the end of the day will streamline the business to making it what it can be.
I love that. Approach it with curiosity. That
Yeah,
that is such great advice. That
yeah,
can really keep your eyes open and needing to change. Because like if you're paying attention to, signals from your team or maybe something's not working, you can pivot. I love
yeah.
that.
You can pivot, and like if and honestly, if you're not updating into the newest technologies, you will be left behind.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're not staying with the way that technology is advancing, that if you're not getting on board with it, you're gonna get left behind with it, and other people are gonna be advancing with it. So it's really important to understand that, yeah, you have to update your technology because at the end of the day, our prices have maintained pretty stable, but our efficiencies have improved.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like, the value of the product isn't going through the roof.
Yeah.
It's still pretty consistent, but our ability to be more efficient and pump out more product at the same amount of quality is where we make our margins.
Interesting. That's great. That's great. Okay. Well, can I ask you, is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you wanted to share? And it could also be, because I'm kind of curious,
Yeah.
your favorite project that Madsen's has done and anything else. But I was curious.
My favorite project that we've done would probably be World in Art Club was really nice because that was one of the first projects that we took on as me and my brother, and that was, like, our
Yeah.
largest projects that we had done when we took over, and also just as an internal project, Epicor, taking it on. I like building the configurator for me. I built the estimating configurator here, and it was a difficult undertaking. I'm gonna be honest with you. When we did not apply, we didn't get the configurator working. We didn't get the estimator
Mm.
working, and we had 3 different people that tried to do it, and they quit halfway through. So that's another reason why when we went to Kinetic, I said, okay, well, we have to get the configurator to work. And I took it on myself to do it. And that process, I was like, I don't know how to code. I've never coded anything in my life. So I had countless nights where I stayed. I pretty much lived at the shop for a year. I'd sleep here. I'd wake up here. I'd really indulged myself in just that project, and I would work on it from when I woke up to when I went to sleep. And it was such a great learning experience. And at the end of the day, like that value or that knowledge that I acquired during that whole implementation is indispensable. And I'm so happy that I took it as my own project because now I have skills that can translate into so many other areas. And I'm going to be in this company my whole life. So I think it's very valuable that I took on that project as myself because if I could have built, I could have given that to someone else and said, okay, I want you to make this work. But then they would have had all those skills. So, and I was really curious about it. I really enjoyed the learning process on it because there's a lot of stuff that you might not know, but you can figure it out. As a person, if you have the determination, the drive, if you put in the effort, you can figure it out.
Talk about coming full circle. I think we started the conversation talking about all the challenges that you just kind of ran headfirst into to take on. And now just kind of wrapped up with one where you took on a challenge you said you knew nothing about and you just did it. That's really great. And I like that it sounds like you approached it with that curiosity that we talked about and being able to develop those skills. Sounds like it was so beneficial for you at the time, but now into the future with your career and your business.
It was rewarding. It was super rewarding. And like obviously I worked with Success as a consultant and I was, having meetings with them every single week, but
Great.
having someone that knows what they're doing, teaching you step by step the processes, then you can take that knowledge and expand on it to make it your own. So
Yes.
it was really better. If I didn't have the resources from the consultants, I would have been nowhere. I would have no idea what to do. So you also need people. You need people to help you along the way. Because if you don't know how to do something, there is someone out there that does, and they can help you do it. So it is also important to understand that if you don't know how to do it yourself, that's okay. But there are people that can help you along the way, and it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. So you mentioned success to partner. You'd also mentioned Epicor Insights. It's the annual customer conference.
Yeah.
Are there other ways that you stay connected to Epicor,
Uh,
maybe other users?
Yeah, they have the Epicor users group, which is like online forum of people that come together and share their ideas, which
Yeah.
is also a really useful resource. And yeah, pretty much like I use those three,
Oh, that's
and
great.
then other people that have implemented it, we are constantly having people come into our shop and talking about our experiences with Epicor, and I love it. I love being able to share what we went through in order for people to understand what the processes that are going to happen when you try to implement it. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and there'll be times where you want to take your computer and throw it out the window. And you say this isn't gonna work, but just keep pushing through it, working out those errors, and no, it's not gonna be perfect right off the bat, but you can keep working at it.
And this is one of the areas that Epicor is looking to turn AI onto in order to resolve and speed that up because we don't want it to take a long time. Nobody wants it to take a long time. And if you think about like implementations of software in general, it's like a prime perfect area for AI to
Yeah,
accelerate and make that an easier experience for everyone.
yeah, exactly.
Well, this has been great. Okay, so Tyler, this has been such a great conversation. I've really appreciated it. For anybody who wants to like learn more about you or connect with you or learn more about Madsen's custom cabinets, where would you send them?
They can call me if you want. If you want, you can.
Great.
I'm all open to anyone who wants to discuss anything. You can email me. You can go on our website. You can get any information you want. Just feel free to contact us. I'm happy to talk about my experience with anyone that's willing to listen. I'm here to help other people because at the end of the day, I need that help. I wish there's people that I could have counted on at the time. And if people need something, I'd be more than happy to share my insights with them.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll include links on the show notes. But this has just been such a great conversation. Tyler, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. That was Tyler Madsen, director of Madsen's Millwork and Custom Cabinets. And to everyone listening, thank you for being a part of the future of manufacturing.